Hello, boils and ghouls. My name is Ashley, and this week I watched episodes 5 and 6 of Only Murders in the Building. We're halfway through this show, and no closer to nailing down actual likely suspects. Instead of taking people off the board, we're putting more on. And honestly, I'm getting a headache trying to keep up. Anybody else? Now, episode 5 kicks off with the show kind of explaining why Bev Mellon is there, and I guess trying to convince us to take her off the board. I'm not taking anybody off the board because I don't trust none of them, but Bev is now kind of like further down on the list. She thinks somebody on set is behind all this. I mean, I kind of said that when she showed up last episode. Maybe somebody is trying to fuel this production in a realistic way. You know, we see more of that writer, and he's got wicked imposter syndrome, which I get, I understand. But the whole fake beard thing is a little bit much and looks a little bit suspicious. You know, like you're trying to be in disguise or something. Does he seem super suspicious to me? No. No, he doesn't. But I'm not ruling anybody out. Not him, not Bev, nobody. The detective shows up again, and Charles presents her with yet a third murder board. And she says, this case has 40,000 suspects. Yes, it does. Like I said, we keep adding people to the list instead of taking people off, and we are halfway through this season. Now, it's at that time when I was watching it, I make notes on my phone while I'm watching whatever I'm watching for these videos. And I had put, as I was watching that scene, like, there's something off with these sisters, the directors, right? The brother sisters. And I thought that from the moment they introduced them. But I was like, okay, maybe they're just like weird artsy people and that's just how they come across. No. They're actually a little bit off. Like they admit that they stole a camera, like their first camera, that they stole it. Is that true? I'm not sure, but they said it. The show even kind of tries to steer you in their direction, which I think I said it even in the last video. Sometimes when they focus on things, it could be an intentional misdirect. And they kind of do that with these sisters this episode. They have this big, long case that they're dragging around behind them, which to the team is like, could that be a rival case? Maybe. The camera zooms in on it because they want you to notice it. And I wrote down here, that's either a big hint or an intentional misdirect. Which, guess which one it was. Turns out these creepy, weird sisters were putting hidden cameras up around everybody's apartment and just spying on everybody. Because that's a normal thing to do for a film production. You know? Now, I've come to realize something watching this, that during their investigation, the team does things that I think are maybe not great when you have like potential suspects in your presence. And one of those things is them showing the murder boards to literally everyone. Like if you're in Charles's apartment, you're going to see it. They'll probably show it to you. They might walk you through it. Which if you don't know or have like a solid idea of who like really good suspects are, probably shouldn't be doing that. You know, they showed the writer. Like, I don't even think they had really, like, written him off, or I'm not even sure they even, like, fully considered him. They were just questioning him. And they were walking through the murder board while he's sitting there on the couch. Like, even if he's not a suspect, maybe don't. Maybe don't show that to people. Maybe don't walk people through that, you know? Just for, like, security purposes for this case. And it's while they're sitting with him that he brings up the timeline, right? It's 12 minutes, right? That's the timeline that they have. It's 12 minutes for everything to happen. Saz to go up to the apartment, somebody to take the shot, that person to come, remove Saz from the apartment, and put her in the incinerator. 12 minutes. Like they said, this person needs to be in pretty good shape because getting from the West Tower to the main entrance of the Arconia, you'd have to move kind of quick to do that and be able to pick up Saz's body and move her. I'm going to mention something that I mentioned in the previous video for this show. I think people keep forgetting about these tunnels, right? We were reminded of them by Saz and Charles's crazy ex sneaking into his closet via one of these tunnels. Tunnels that they made public knowledge in a previous season. As I said, there is one that connects the two Arconias that they believe is sealed off. What if it's not sealed off? What if whoever did this knew about it, unsealed it, and used that to get from point A to point B? I'm sure it would maybe take less time to take that tunnel straight across rather than going out the building and around a corner into another building. I'm sure they're like not mentioning it on purpose, but I don't know. That's what makes sense to me. Somebody went from the West Tower to the main Arconia via that tunnel. They were not going out and around. Now that footprint that they saw on that windowsill, they saw it again at a production meeting on a tacky mat. If you don't know what a tacky mat is, it is a square that you put on the floor that is sticky, tacky. So you step on it and it takes all the dust off your shoes. They see the same footprint. So Bev's idea of there being somebody on set involved makes a lot of sense. Now we swing back around to those brothers, sisters. They wear those shoes. They say yes, they know Dudenhoff because Professor Dudenhoff was a professor of film and they learned from him, right? They were his students. So was Vince, the eye patch guy, and Rudy, Christmas all the time guy. That's how they met him. That's how they got these apartments. I assume it'll be something similar for the Sauce family. I don't know because we didn't see them at all, I don't think. Yeah, they said they went to visit him, but like, why would your shoe print be on the windowsill? I mean, unless you're like standing there and you just pick your foot up and you lean your foot on it. Like, I do that out in my kitchen all the time on the kitchen island. I put my foot up on one of the shelves on the island, but it's not a windowsill. I'm not lifting it up to windowsill height. You know what I mean? But maybe she did. Maybe that is a plausible explanation. But as I said, we're adding names to the list. It's not just suspects we're adding. It's also victims. This is the first season where we've had multiple victims and attempts to create more victims. The detective brings Saz's remains back because she feels like they shouldn't be left in the evidence locker collecting dust for the rest of eternity, and that they should be with Charles. I think Charles should also maybe bring some to her friends down at that stuntman bar. But Gravy makes a return appearance, and as the cadaver dog she is, knocks the box over, and what do we see but 2 left shoulders, which doesn't make any sense. That means Saz wasn't the only one in that incinerator. Victim number 2, Professor Dudenhoff. So, somebody knew Dudenhoff, which is everybody on that floor, plus these brother sisters, had access to the apartment, which all of them knew the passcode to that apartment. Whoever took out Saz also probably took out Dudenhoff because they were disposed the same way. And the detective says, oh no, prior to them finding this other shoulder, she says she looked into Dudenhoff. Somebody's been cashing his social security checks out of bodega in the city. This man's supposed to be in Portugal, and you realize somebody is cashing his social security checks out of bodega in the city, and you don't check that out? Okay. Like, a crime was committed from his apartment, and you just said, oh, well, that must be him. I mean, I'm not a cop, but I would have gone down there and been like, hey, is this dude around? Because somebody's cashing his checks here, and I'd just like to make sure it's him because there's been some stuff going out, and I need to talk to him. But apparently that didn't happen. She took it at face value of, oh, well, his checks are being cashed. Well, it happens all the time. People cash social security checks that don't belong to them. Maybe in this situation, you should have gone and verified it was, in fact, him. Because it wasn't. And now I'd like to know who it was. I'm sure we'll figure that out eventually because they're probably involved, whoever it is. So, like I said, not taking anybody off the list in terms of suspects. We've also added potential victims in the form of Oliver's stunt double, and the actor playing Oliver in this movie. Which means I'm also adding Mabel and all of her counterparts to the list. Because somebody came after Charles and got Saz. Somebody came after Oliver at a photo shoot and hit Galifianakis and Glenn the stunt double. Which the detective is not happy about because she is very much a Galifianakis fangirl. In fact, she says to them when she realizes he's part of the movie that they better make sure nothing happens to that man. But now maybe she's more heavily motivated to help them figure out this crime because now it's personal to her. But yeah, somebody tried to take Oliver out and got the other two Olivers, which makes me think this person also will be coming for Mabel. And Mabel now lives in that apartment, and I don't know how secure she is in that apartment. Did they take the lockbox off? Does she have a key? Is that key got a copy floating around somewhere? Maybe Mabel shouldn't be staying there. Especially if I'm adding Vince and Rudy to the board still. Are they like seriously up there? Do I really think it's possible? Meh. But like, it's hard to tell with this show. Can't rule anybody out in an investigation. So now, every time she goes back there, she's got to worry, is somebody coming in? Is there a secret closet passage like there is in Charles's place? Nobody's considering that. Are the people living on either side of her potentially dangerous? Maybe. I'd like to see something else come from that ham radio. Because we didn't get any ham radio this episode. Either of these episodes, really. There's so much going on in this season of the show. And I feel like it's more than we've ever gotten. And it's borderline overwhelming. As I said in the beginning of this video, I think about it and it gives me a headache. There's so many suspects. There's now so many victims, potential victims. So, like, who has it out for all of them? Whoever did this in front of the brother-sisters starts sending text messages to the team, right? The girls are there in, is it Oliver's apartment? I think it is. You know, explaining, oh yeah, we put the hidden cameras up. Sorry for the privacy violation or whatever. And they realize that there's something there that's not from one of their cameras. And whoever is responsible for this is obviously also listening. Because they start texting, you know, pictures and like images that say that like, oh, I'm watching you. So the sisters weren't the only ones with hidden cameras. Oliver says that they're not safe in the Arconia anymore. My gut reaction to this was, Oliver, honey, nobody has been safe in the Arconia since season 1. So I don't know how any of them felt safe in that building this entire time. Especially since the deaths occurring have been getting closer and closer, like more personal as the seasons have gone on. Now it's Saz, who is Charles' stunt double. They're actively targeting the team now. Last season it was Ben Glenroy, who worked on Oliver's show. So I don't think this building has been safe for anybody, especially not 3 armchair detectives that keep nosing into homicides in the building, you know? Anyway, that's it for this video. There's so much going on. If you guys have any theories you'd like to share, feel free to do so. Also, please hit the subscribe button, click like if you feel like it, and be excellent to each other. I'll see you next time. Bye.